In this video, I'm gonna go over top reasons as to why highly intellectual people struggle with love and how to be able to overcome it. Hi, and welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Natalie, and in this channel, I help hardworking entrepreneurs improve their love life. From my own experience, I realized that me as a hardworking entrepreneur, I used to put my business and career and profession as the #1 priority because I had a fear that if I had someone else come into my life, that they would take that away from me, or I'd be capping my income and I would not be able to grow in my own profession and career. I had all these thoughts and fears. I'm gonna be able to help you to overcome any of those doubts. That way you can definitely live a very meaningful and fulfilled life with a partner and reach high level of success in your business and career. If you're excited, make sure you like this video. Let's get into it. Highly intellectual people love their independence. The moment they think that they're gonna bring someone on, they feel like they're no longer independent, they don't have this freedom. So, I mean, we were definitely not taught on how to be able to balance this out with another partner. If you have a partner or if you are interested in someone, do this as what I'm saying. And I get it. I'm an introvert by heart. I love being independent. I love doing things on my own. And I know more people are involved. That's more time. I totally understand. But that's why we leverage our time. But here's the thing. When you bring someone on, they have to respect your boundaries. Me and my boyfriend, we are extremely independent. Yes, we love being with one another. We love each other. We love our time. We love our presence together. But at the same time, we have boundaries. And having those boundaries in your relationship creates even more harmony. You just cannot wait to see each other again. And when you are together, you just find it extremely valuable. But when there's no boundaries, then there's this trust, lack of communication. There's taking each other for granted. Boundaries. Obviously, it's important to be able to communicate with this partner. And if they agree, phenomenal. And if they don't, maybe they are not for you. I remember I had, a fair share of boyfriends in the past, and they were just needy. Like, they constantly needed me. I wasn't about that until I found the boyfriend that I am with today. We both have a life outside of ourselves. We both have a life outside of making money. We both have a life outside of business and careers, and make this life very adventurous and not being so obligated to do things. Finding someone that respects your boundaries and you communicate that with them. Highly intellectual people find it very difficult to open up and be vulnerable. Now, when I grew up, I was taught that opening up and vulnerable or even shedding a tear was a sign of weakness. But what I've came to know, even in business, because when I got myself into business, I got to know God, I got to know what spirituality was all about, I got to know myself even more. But opening up and being vulnerable, it is a sign of strength. But don't get me wrong, it is still difficult to open up. So the solution to this is finding someone that understands, will listen to you, and will support you. I know for me as a girlfriend, in the beginning days, I wanted him to open up and be vulnerable to me. Like from right in the beginning. And I didn't respect his space. I didn't respect his feelings. I didn't respect his boundaries. That I would just shove things down his throat because I want it now. What kind of control freak is that? Who would want to be with someone like that anyways? And if you're like that, shame on you, my friend. I had to learn too. Therefore, I had to understand these certain things when it came into relationship. It's like, okay, if my boyfriend is not ready to open up, like, I have to put myself in his shoes. If I'm not ready to open up and be vulnerable, how am I gonna expect him to do the same? How? There's no way. You obviously want to lead by example. You have to take your own advice. If you're a person that gives all kinds of advice to everybody, are you taking your own advice? If your partner is not opening up to you and not being vulnerable, it's because you are like all over them. You're being interrogative. You're like all over the space. That's not gonna create harmony. It's not gonna create intimacy. It's not gonna create a very harmonious sex life. No, give them the space. If they're not ready to open up, respect that. More than anything, highly intellectual people deserves respect. But are you respecting those that are around you? It all comes back to what we reap and what we sow. If we are sowing disrespectfulness and like shoving things down people's throats and like interrogating them, what do you think we're gonna receive back? This exact same thing. Because if you're constantly like on each other's throats, that's gonna just create divorce, that's gonna create a breakup, that's gonna create some sort of chaos, a problem, destruction, things that we don't want, genuinely. Deep down inside, we don't want those things. And one thing that I learned about problems in the world is that we create our own problems. We create our own reality. If there is a problem, we have created that. So how do we fix it? Whatever it is that we're not good at is because we just lack the skill. That's it. Everyone can learn a new skill. You can learn a new skill. I can learn a new skill. My neighbor can learn a new skill. The driver out there can learn a new skill. Learn that skill and you will be far better off, significant in all those areas of your life. The next reason and the solution to this is that highly intellectual people tend to be intimidating because, they are extra smart. People just naturally are intimidated by them. The fact that you even love being intimidating is sign of all ego. I can say this for myself because I used to love when people would tell me, you're so intimidating, I can't approach you. I used to love that, but I realized that it was all ego and there's no way to grow. That's just, are you in this life to live for you, or are you in this life to live for something bigger? If people are intimidating by you, that's no money for you, honey, because where does money come from? Money comes from people. If people are intimidated by you, you better best believe you're not gonna find the love of your life because they're intimidated by you and the knowledge and the expertise and everything that you know, because you're great. People find that intimidating. Some people do. You can still be humble enough to show your expertise, to show your advice, to show your knowledge without being intimidating, without looking like you're the best and the best in the room. Like, honey, if you are the best in the room, there's something wrong. You gotta find people who are better than you in that room for you to grow and not be intimidated because no one is gonna want to approach you, trying to go on dates and people just don't wanna be around you because your ego is a lot bigger. Let's face it, weigh your ego with your bank account and figure out which one weighs more. Like, if you think you have enough money in the bank, honey, you have no idea that everything I've just gone through in this video will help you to make a lot more money. Another reason as to why highly intellectual people really struggle with love and how to be able to overcome it, they tend to be very bold. Now, I'm not saying you have to change who you are. I feel like that trait is so incredibly amazing. That's something that we need in this world, so keep that. But being able to train it in a way, if you will, to not look arrogant or rude to some people. Now, I understand we really can't please everybody. People are just gonna be offended no matter what we do. I totally get that. But if you're coming at a place out of a good intention, out of a good heart, and you're being humble at the same time, you have done the right thing. You are still bold. You are still passionate. But some people, they just find that way too much for them, especially, let's say, from the opposite personality. You know, they're more timid. They really love people. They really want to make a cause for the world. It's just being able to level with them as well. So that way they don't run away from you, because those people tend to really help us out in our relationships, in our businesses. So if we're always coming into a situation where we're intimidating everybody and being bold and like not really leveling to how they are because we think we're better than them, understand what they are at, but that's not for you to make yourself look good because you're better. The fact that we even have this type of thinking, that's a lot of issues and it's a lot of insecurities, because you're trying to like find ways to make yourself look good and not really humbling yourself. It's also really great to be able to receive that kind of feedback from, you know, a good intentional person, like from a partner and things like that. They're not attacking us, because the moment you think that they're attacking us because who we are and wearing on change for anybody, that's not gonna create a harmonious relationship with anyone. If you understand where they are coming from and you can still be bold in a way that you're not over them, they'll definitely be able to hear your passion. They'll be able to hear you out and really level with you and understand where you're coming from. But you gotta understand where they are coming from first in order for someone else to understand where you are coming from. I don't want you to end up alone. You don't have to change who you are, but you have to improve who you are. There's a difference. The solution to this is to discern when to speak and when not to speak. If we're constantly reacting to everything and constantly having to speak over people, we're never gonna learn anything in life. You can become the greatest listener of all time. You best believe you're gonna have a very harmonious and very sexy, passionate and sweaty relationship with your partner. And not just that, having it being adventurous over obligation. And you just love to argue? Like, what's the point? Weigh your ego with your goal, figure out which one weighs more. If you're constantly having to debate with your partner, having to prove your point, having to be right, you're gonna have a very sexless life, and that's gonna either create into divorce or just breaking up, and long term, that is not what we want. What is more important? Is it your spouse? Is it building this life together? So understand them, become the greatest listener, put yourself in their shoes, and you will finally have your eyes being opened up and understand where they are coming from. You guys are both coming together to have better communication with one another, and it's gonna translate into more intimacy, trust, all this great stuff. Another point, and how to overcome this, is that we always constantly have to win. We cannot afford to lose. The only way for us to grow, to improve, to have the best life ever and be the best version of ourselves, we have to be willing to lose. That's gonna help us to learn. If we're constantly winning, we're not growing, we are capped in our income, we are capped in our love life, we're capped in a lot of things that we have a lot of blind spots that we don't even know. As control freaks, we are not in control of the outcome. What we are in control of is what comes out of our mouths, our actions, our minds. And if we continuously control the outcome, we're gonna be frustrated forever. When you are ethical, you will see that the outcome will be in your favor far more than you have ever expected. So if you don't want to constantly be disappointed or be frustrated all the time, like that's just a headache, man. I mean, I don't know if you want to live the rest of your life that way, but if you just like go and you do what is right, because something else bigger than ourselves is in control of that and they are in our side, you're going to be shocked for what you're going to be receiving. I know that it's a hard pill to swallow. I know we came out of the wombs winning at everything. And then life happened to humble us. So it's not what happens to us that determines our success in life. It is what we do with those circumstances that creates that success for us. Another reason and the solution to this is that their partner can't keep up with their level of thinking. And the solution is this: if you are married and this is going on, that doesn't mean you're going to like leave them. At the end of the day, you're carrying the same baggage. The grass is not greener on the other side. It's what you do with the grass is what's gonna dictate for it to be green. Are you mowing it? Are you nurturing? Are you watering it? Whatever you're bringing into this new relationship and you haven't worked on it from the last relationship, it's just not gonna make it any greener. That does not mean that they're less than or they don't know what they're saying or what they're doing. They also have hidden talents and gifts that you don't even know because you didn't take the time to find out, because it's always about you. Advice. I give you the coaching. We cannot give our partner the responsibility. If you see it that it's going in the direction that you don't wanted it to go, you best believe you better put effort into it, because if you're putting effort in your love life, everything else will tend to follow, my friend. How about you just hear them out? Don't have assumptions or judgment towards them that they are maybe stupid. Like, why did you marry them in the first place? What was it? You married your boyfriend. You married your girlfriend. You did not marry whatever society tells you to do, that you should look upon your partner because society says that you should look at them like this. Why did you marry them? You fell in love with something about them. If you focus on that, it will improve your love life. The only person that is better is God. When we think higher of ourselves, you best believe we're gonna be very frustrated. You best believe we're gonna have a sexless life. You best believe that our businesses are not going to skyrocket. When we think higher of ourselves, it's one thing to be bold. It's one thing to be confident. But if you're constantly like putting people down for your own selfish ego, that is not gonna turn around unless you stop thinking that way and you really get to know them for who they are. Everyone has a talent. Like your partner or whoever that it is that you're into have a strength that overlaps your weakness. We have a weakness. Shocking, we do. You know what our weakness is? We think so higher of ourselves. That's one of our biggest reasons. But when we are humbling ourselves, because again, it's a sign of strength, we are definitely gonna be elevated into higher level of successes in every area of our lives. They were not created like you. They are not you. If they were like you would be bored because nothing is exciting anymore. But if I have a partner that overlaps my weaknesses, someone who listens, someone who's compassionate, someone who understands, someone who is faithful, chooses to love me every single day, I need that in my life. I have weakness in that area, but I know my partner fulfills that. If we don't take the time to acknowledge those things, again, it's gonna translate into something that we don't want. So if they can't keep up with our level of thinking, how about we like learn from them instead? Learn from what they are great at, how we can learn from that and become a better individual, and vice versa. There's no peace, there's no freedom within you if you always have to show up constantly proving yourself. We get bored with our partner. This is so sad. Society is just so messed up because they always say break up. It's always better on the other side. The perfect person is out there. If you think that your partner is boring or you're getting bored, it's because you are not doing your due diligence to bring the fire back. You're expecting your partner to be Jesus and God and all this kind of stuff, for them to do everything, for them to do the work. If you see that there's no fire in the chimney, like in the log area, you have to be willing to light up the fire again. How you treat this relationship right now will definitely result into where it's gonna go. So if you want it to be passionate and harmonious and sexual and communicative and listening and adventurous and fun, put that in first. If you see it that it's not there, your job is to put it in first, because you love to learn new things, all this kind of stuff. Learn that with your partner. You think you know your partner, you really don't know your partner, and to really understand them. If you're constantly frustrated with them, that's on you. It's not on them. If you want to improve this, not fix it, improve it, starts with you and not having these judgments against them. You can bring the fire and sexiness and adventure back. And I'm telling you, I've been with my boyfriend now for, it's gonna be close to 7 years. It's ridiculous. I can't keep my hands off of him. I find him the most hottest, attractive man on this planet. Your partner's not there to just for your feelings. Love is a choice. It is backed up with a vision. Weigh your ego with your goal and figure out which one weighs more. Thank you for watching. Make sure you watch this video next. This video is also going to be able to continue to help you in your journey as far as being able to improve your love life as a hardworking entrepreneur. So very proud of you. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Love you.